I think that it can be acquired. It can be acquired slowly. I think that is something that has to be cultivated also. That was not easy for me. I just assume it's difficult for others. Another thing that was difficult for me, and I probably don't do too well yet, and that is the matter of tolerance. We're all inclined to have closed minds. They're pretty tightly closed, too. And that's one reason that some people find spiritual teachings difficult. They don't want to find out too much about it for various personal reasons. One reason is the fear of being considered effeminate, just for illustration. But anyway, the matter of tolerance toward the other individual's ideas, it's quite important that we do acquire it. I think I've acquired it. I have much more of it than I did have, although not enough to hurt me any yet. Because if somebody crossed me, why, I was apt to make at least a rather caustic remark about it, which I've done many times, much to my regret. And later on, I find that the man knew much more about it than I, and I'd been infinitely better off if I'd just kept my big mouth shut. Another thing with which most of us are not overly blessed, and that is the feeling of humility. I don't mean the humility in the sense of Dickens' Uriah Heep at all. I don't mean the doormat variety. I don't think we're necessarily called on to be shoved around and stepped on by anyone, and we have a right to stand up for our rights. I'm talking about the attitude of each and every one of us toward our Heavenly Father. Christ said, "Of myself I am nothing. My strength cometh from my Father in heaven." And if he had to say that, how about you and me? But did you say it? Did I say it? No. That's exactly what we didn't say. We were inclined to say, well, look us overboard. Pretty good, huh? That type of attitude. But there was no humility, no sense of having received anything through the grace of our Heavenly Father. So if I accomplish something, either in AA activity or socially or in my profession, well, I don't believe I have any right to get cocky about it. It's only through God's grace that I did it. I can feel very thankful that I was privileged to do it, to have the recognition which I may have received for some activity. But basically, it was only through his kindness. And if my strength does come from him, and these things come as a result of his kindness, who am I to get cocky about it? I should have a very, very humble attitude toward the source of my strength. And I should also never cease to be grateful for whatever feelings come my way, blessings come my way. And I have been blessed, and I've been blessed in very large measure. You know, it doesn't make much difference whether a person is drinking or whether they're sober as far as their ultimate aim is concerned. Whether they're drinking liquor or whether they're not, they're still after the same thing, and that's happiness and peace of mind. I harp about that a great deal because that's what we're all after, and we're all after all the time. We want those two things. We want happiness and we want peace of mind. The trouble with us fellows was that we thought we could demand that the world give us happiness in just particular way in which we wanted to get it, which happened to be by the alcohol route. And we weren't overly successful. But when we take time to find out and familiarize ourselves with and put into practice some of the spiritual laws which it is necessary to follow to acquire those things, then we find that we get them. And I think I've had them in very large measure. Those two things, happiness and peace of mind. And I feel most extremely fortunate, and I feel very grateful and thankful that our Heavenly Father has seen fit that I enjoy them. They're there. Anybody can get them who wishes to, but there do seem to be some rules of the game that we have to follow. But they're here and open and free to everyone who wishes to take advantage of them. And by taking advantage of them means a familiarization with them and putting them into practice and incorporating them in our own thinking and action, and we're bound and determined to get certain results if we do. As I said, it is a very great source of pleasure and gratitude to me to feel that maybe I kicked in my 2 bits worth toward starting this. But as I said also, I feel that I was simply used as God's agent. The question might arise, well, we know what AA's done in the last 13 years, but how about it from here on? Where do we go from here? Our membership, I think, is conservatively estimated at present around 70,000. Whether will it be in the increase from here on? Well, that'll depend on every member of AA. It is possible for us to do so or not as we elect. If we fight shy of what the politicos call entangling alliances, if we avoid getting messed up with controversial issues such as religious and political issues, wet and dry problems and so forth, if we know unity through our central office, if we remember the simplicity of our program, if we continue to remember that our job is to get sober and to stay sober and to help our less fortunate brother in doing the same thing, I doubt very much if we shall have any trouble, and we shall continue to grow and thrive and prosper. And I hope we all bear those little things in mind. Maybe there shall be some additions to the list, but that roughly covers it fairly well. And I hope none of us will ever forget what I just said about helping our less fortunate brother.